Hey, welcome to John's Crazy Workshop. If you're looking at this, you're probably like me and like to tinker. So what I want to do is create my own finishing sander, similar to the ones on the internet that are called the V-Drum or the Sand Flea. And one of those are pulley driven and one of those are actually shaft driven. And I'm going to try to do a shaft driven one, see how well that works. And what we want to do is take a spinning drum, which I'm going to use this rolling pin. You're going to connect it with Velcro on it, and then on that you're going to use sandpaper that connects directly onto that. And I'm using these low profile pillow bearings, a couple different pulley systems, hoping that I can use that. A couple other converting pieces that I found at the hardware store. They're called 1/2-inch convertible motor arbors. And then something that I went over to the hardware store and found, and this is used for a little bit heavy machinery. You can see right here, it has some different names for it. Some people call it the Lovejoy joint connector, but basically you put the shaft in there and you connect the set screw right in here. So I'm going to try to connect this, see how this all works, and you can wish me luck and we'll see how it works. Okay, so I have a variable speed grinder here. The reason I chose this is because it usually runs at 3,800 RPM. And for a spindle sander, you want something that's going to be about half that, about 1,750. This variable speed literally allows me to turn it on and then adjust the speed on this right here. So if the wood's going to get burnt, I can slow it down. I've already connected on there the Lovejoy, and I put it on the end of the shaft right here, which just literally goes on the end right here. Alright, I took this wooden dowel here, and it already had an opening from where the previous rolling pin actually was, and I need to figure out a way to connect this to the shaft, which is right over here. So what I'm doing is I'm taking one of these lock sets, not really sure what they're called exactly, and I'm going to create this, and I'm drilling holes in it. So I have 3 little holes, and those will actually connect to the washer, and the washer will have holes which will connect to this particular part. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken one of these stops right here, drilled holes through it, put that on top of a washer, a large washer, drill holes to that, and connect them all together by using a sheet screws. And I know it'd be easier if I could weld, but I don't have that ability at this time in my shop. And we're going to do that. And these flanges are going to go onto that like this, and that's going to hold it onto the shaft. Okay, here's the next stage. Take the flange and put it on here. I know it's not perfectly centered, especially the other side, but I'm hoping that once I spin it, I can actually sand down one side. That side that's a little bit bigger than the other. Now we take it, put the shaft on it, and then put it onto the other part. Okay, so I was able to get the shaft back on here through here, and the difficulties that I had was the flange that I made wasn't perfectly round, and that made it difficult. But with a little persuasion, I was able to get that on there. And I'm hoping that once I get it on and I can spin it, I'll be able to straighten out the drum itself, the roller, by sanding it on the top. Okay, so here's what I have. At this point, I have a straight shaft coming right off there. There's a bearing right here, pillow bearing. A couple lockers. The flanges I made. The old rolling pin. Okay, so this is what we have right now. We have our variable speed grinder that goes to a straight shaft, which goes to the Lovejoy joint, which is flexible. There's a gasket inside it, which is nice, so that if this moves a little bit off, it won't hurt it or anything. We have a low profile pillow bearing, a couple sets, and this is a homemade flange we connected off the set that connected onto the old rolling pin. Rolling pin goes across, connects to the sets again, and then we're on the low bearings right there. So we'll give it a turn, see how it works. Nothing's tied down right now, but you can see we got some good spinning right here. It's on pretty high speed right now. So we'll build a frame for this and see how it works after.